Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Myself Rohanar. Today let us discuss the topic of the difference between the DSBC and SSB modulation and explain their applications. Introduction. Modulation is of paramount importance in communication system as it enables the efficiency transmission of the information over a long distance by varying a carrier signal's properties like amplitude, frequency, or phase to represent data. Modulation allows for the encoding of information onto the carrier wave. This process facilitates the signal propagation through various medium and minimizes the interference. Without modulation, the transmission of information over radio, television, the internet, and even mobile phones would be severely limited, making it a foundation aspect of modern communication system. Okay, now let us know about the basics of modulation. Modulation is a fundamental technique in a communication system that serves the purpose of encoding information onto a carrier signal. It involves varying one or more properties of the carrier signal such as amplitude, frequency, or phase to represent the data to be transmitted. This process enables the efficient and reliable transmission of information over various communication channels such as radio waves, optical fibers, and coaxial cables. Modulation allows us to send the data over a long distance and through different media while minimizing the interference and ensuring the information reaches its destination intact. DSBSC modulation. Yeah, what is DSBSC modulation? Double sideband suppressed carrier modulation. It is a technique used in the communication system to transmit the information by suppressing or removing the carrier signal's frequency component. In DSBSC modulation, the carrier wave's amplitude remains constant and two identical sidebands are created on either side of the carrier frequency. This sideband contains the modulating signal's information while the carrier signal itself is eliminated or significantly reduced. Mathematically, DSP modulation can be represented as S of t equals A of c m of t cos 2 pi fc of t, where S of t represents the DSPSC modulated signal and A of c is the carrier amplitude and m of t is the message or modulating signal and f of c is the carrier frequency. Yeah, now let us know about the application of DSPSC modulation. DSPSC modulation finds a practical application in various communication systems where efficient bandwidth utilization is crucial. One prominent application is in AM radio broadcasting. In AM radio, audio signals are modulated onto a carrier wave using DSPSC modulation. By suppressing the carrier signal, DSPSC allows the multiple radio stations to share the same frequency band without interference, optimizing the spectrum allocation. DSBC modulation is also used in certain types of amplitude shift keying as modulation for digital communication, as well as in some radar and sonar systems where bandwidth efficiency is priority. It's particularly valuable in scenarios where transmitting both sideband is unnecessary and would waste bandwidth and power resources. Yeah, now let us also look through about the SSB modulation. Single sideband modulation is a communication technique that transmits only one of the sidebands of the modulated signal while suppressing the carrier and other sideband. The concept of single sideband means that only a single selected sideband, either the upper or lower, is transmitted, significantly conserving the bandwidth and power compared to the double sideband modulation. Mathematically, SSB modulation can be represented as S of t equals m of t cos 2 pi fc of t minus h of m of t into sin 2 pi of fc of t, where S of t represents the SSB modulated signal and m of t represents the message or modulated signal, f of c is the carrier frequency, and h m of t is. Yeah, let us see also the application of SSB modulation. SSB modulation is widely used in practical application where the bandwidth efficiency is crucial. One prominent application is in long distance telephone where SSB modulation significantly conserves the bandwidth compared to the other modulation techniques like AM. SSB is also advantageous in certain radio systems, particularly in the high frequency and the short wave communication where it helps overall ionosphere fading and interference issues. Additionally, SSB is used in military and aviation communication, maritime ratio and amateur radio operations, where efficient spectrum utilization is crucial for reliable long-range communication. Overall, SSB is favored in scenarios where efficient bandwidth allocation is essential for robust and clear long distances. The difference between the DSBSC and SSBSC modulation. DSBSC modulation, it's a double sideband without the carrier amplitude modulation. SSBSC modulation is only one sideband AM without the carrier. DSBSC modulation bandwidth is 2 FM, and SSBSC modulation the bandwidth is 1 FM. Less number of channels are given in a frequency range in DSBSC modulation, more number of channels in given in frequency range at SSBSC modulation. Moderate power consumption at DSBSC modulation, least power consumption at SSBSC modulation. Moderately difficult reconstruction at DSBSC modulation, difficult reconstruction at SSBSC modulation. Moderately redundant data at DSBSC modulation, least redundant data at SSBSC modulation. Tracking might be required at DSBSC modulation. Synchronization of tracking is essential. Yeah, now let us know about the real world examples. AM modulation, one of the most iconic example of AM modulation is a commercial broadcasting radio. For instance, AM radio stations have been staple in delivering news, music and entertainment to a wide audience. In early 20th century, the introduction of AM radio brought mass communication to household worldwide, exemplified by the stations like KDKA in Pittsburgh, which made the first commercial broadcast in 1920. Yeah, finally we have arrived at the conclusion. In this video, we explore the three key of modulation techniques, DSPSC and SSB modulation. AM was highlighted as a widely used technique in commercial radio broadcasting, enabling the transmission of audio signal. DSPSC modulation was discussed as being practically for digital communication, exemplified in RFID technology. SSB modulation, on the other hand, was shown to be crucial in long distance telephone and HF radio communication. Understanding this modulation technique is essential in communication system as they determine how information is encoded and transmitted, impacting the factors like bandwidth efficiency, interference, and the range of communication. Mastery of this technique is pivotally is designing and optimizing the communication system for various applications. Thanks for watching the video till end. Please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel.